Hello, welcome to Sportscast Podcast and the return of the Premier League with what could potentially be the deciding game in the 23-24 season. We touch on the rugby, a little bit of Formula One, an Easter conversation special, as well as James's obscure sport of the week. Join us now.
James, Jordan, how are we?
Good, thank you. You?
You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. You both well, James?
Yeah, I'm all good, yeah.
Good. Been a busy weekend again. I've just caught, well, I'll be honest, I caught the end of. I caught the last 80 minutes of your game, James.
No, I'll be honest with you, I was dipping in and out of it because I was, I'll be honest, I was streaming it through a hooky site and that kept bloody doing all sorts. So out of the 90 minutes, I think I managed to catch about 20 minutes of it. But
I'll be honest, you didn't miss anything.
From what I gather, reading about it, yeah, it looks like it was pretty much a boring 0-0 draw.
I thought
There was only 3 shots on target, wasn't there, all game? 2 or 3?
I know Haaland didn't create or have a shot at all. 3 shots on target, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the game and, I mean, apart from the man of the match being the referee for Man City, Man City, if they was to shoot from within 30 yards, so if they got, if someone had the ball on the edge of the 25 yard edge of the box, they'd still try and pass it in. If they'd shoot more, I can't help but think they'd score more. And I know they score enough anyway, but they just don't shoot.
It's ironic, really, because we've been saying that, well, I have anyway, about Arsenal for the last 20 years. They like to play that tick-a-tack football years ago under Arsene Wenger back in the early noughties and whatnot, where they would string 10 passes together and then try and pass it into the back of the net. And you're just thinking, when somebody's 25 yards out, just have a crack.
When you're 0-0 in the 65th minute, and at this point, I don't know how many shots on target was, you'd just have a go.
Yeah, have a go.
You would just have a go. A bit disappointing. I sent through, I don't know if anyone's managed to catch, probably, without doubt, the greatest moment to happen in football history in Scotland yesterday.
That is the lowest of low blows for Scottish football from Liam. Wow.
No. I think it's the best thing to happen in football, but it came from Scotland.
Okay, fair enough.
When the Hibernian player goes to take a quick free kick against Rangers and his own player is too close and he smacks his own player against the head, but he's hit it that hard, it hit his own players in the head, ricochets and hit another one of his players in the face, and they both look like they've been sniped. Have you guys not seen this?
No, I've seen it.
I did. I briefly caught some of that. He goes to kick the ball, doesn't he, just up the field, and it hits one player in the face, and it comes straight back. It's a one in a million shot, isn't it?
You're never going to see something like that. It is just pure comedy gold. If anyone can go out there and get it, you'll get it on Twitter or X. But just without doubt, the best thing to come out of football this weekend. So, and the other big talking point for the weekend: Newcastle, West Ham, the 4-3.
The opposite, if anything, of today's game.
Yeah.
Phenomenal game, weren't it? It was just back and forth and absolutely brilliant game.
I sat down to it in the sort of 60th minute as it was 3-1 West Ham, gutted because I had Newcastle on an Aki and it was a lunchtime kickoff. But you had dodgy referee decisions, you had penalties that maybe weren't penalties, and then that goal from Harvey Barnes in the 90th minute was incredible.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the best games of football I watched for a very, very long time.
It was a good final goal, to be fair. Like he took his first touch was kind of a knock on to give him that yard of space.
Yeah.
He hit it first time, and he did exactly what you have just said. that Arsenal and City should really be doing, which is
It
have a
was.
crack. And he made the space, he created the yard, he hit it really, really well. And he just it was fantastic. And that's what they needed. And that's what they got.
That's what Liverpool do. Darwin Núñez, Salah get the ball. They have a yard of space, anywhere within 25 yards. They're having a shot. So I definitely do think that was probably definitely the game of the weekend, if not game of the season so far. James, you keep your eye on rugby union. Have you seen what's gone on this weekend?
I watched a bit of the Harlequins and Bath game yesterday.
That was the game I was talking about, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that was a really good game of rugby, considering at one point Harlequins were 33-3 up.
3 up at half time, yeah.
And I mean, okay, Harlequins still won, but only by a 4-point deficit. And I mean, during that first half, it looked really embarrassing for Bath. It kind of made them look like a League Two team. They just weren't with it. And I mean, I hate to say it, but for Quins, that Smith,
that's right. This is the problem with him.
He's a good player, really.
This is the problem with him at England. He's not that type of player that plays English rugby, and I guess you could argue the same with Finn Russell for Scotland. For Bath, he doesn't play Russell wouldn't look out of place at All Blacks if you ask me. But have you seen the controversy to come off the back of it? Whether you saw it or not?
No, I haven't. No.
So the Herbs, the second rower that came on in the 66, he got yellow carded in the 63rd minute,
right?
And then he was back on the pitch in the 70th minute and made a try saving tackle.
Right.
He was only off for 7 minutes, and he was allowed back on the pitch.
Well, how's that happening?
Well, I've been trying to find out what happens, and it's the fourth official that tells the players when to go back on. So
the fourth official's probably got a bit of money on the game. Then.
Well, yeah. And at 33-30, he thought he was pretty safe.
Mm.
And then, I mean, there's been other incidents today in the Sale in the Sale game. It was on ITV actually today. Sale Exeter Chiefs, where there's a missed yellow card early on from a deliberate knock on by Tuolangi, and then the Exeter fullback Hodge has gone up to catch the ball. He's got two hands on it but dropped it, and he got yellow carded for a deliberate knock on. And it was like, when you see the two, you'd say it was the other way around. One was given as a scrum for a knock on, and the other was a yellow card, and it went the other way. So it's
there's just no. It's getting more towards the football, soccer, whatever you call it, side of things, where there's just no consistency, is there?
No, and I mean, there's not been, apart from the Newcastle game yesterday, I didn't think the second penalty was a penalty.
I think the first one was.
Well, no, but it was the Phillips kicking Anthony Gordon.
Mm.
I felt that Gordon didn't play the ball either. So if you imagine a player pulls a player back or he body checks him, you don't get the foul. It goes against you for body checking him. That's kind of what Gordon's done. He's not played the ball, has he? So, but the level of refereeing at the minute, I think we've said it before, where they're trying to interpret the letter of the law as it's written in black and white and not as is. So it makes it very difficult. I'll be honest, there's not. You've had a little bit in Germany. Bayern Leverkusen looks all but to win the title now. Bayern Munich lost to Borussia Dortmund at the weekend, and Thomas Tuchel, the Bayern manager's come out and congratulated Leverkusen.
Which I know you're not his biggest fan, but Bayern have had a pretty good run of form up until a certain Harry Kane has.
I think have they won 11 in a row or something like that?
Something like that.
He's just allergic to silverware. I don't know what it is. He is a phenomenal striker, and I do take the mick, but
how would you feel as a Bayern Munich player where Thomas Tuchel, your manager, the person you look for inspiration to to cheer them on and get everyone going. And how would you feel about him coming out and going, yeah, well done, Leverkusen, you've won it? It's almost like he's waving the white flag and giving up now. And, if you were a player, you'd be thinking, well, bollocks to him. Why should I bother working for him? Solid.
Well, he's already said that he's leaving at the end of this season. A little bit like Klopp. It's tricky because they're 13 points behind now, and I think there's 5-6 games to go. They're not clawing that back.
No, but you'd still want a bit of fight, wouldn't you, from your manager?
Jesus Christ, Bayern Leverkusen have not lost a game this season.
No, they're the only team in Europe that are unbeaten.
They could do
in the top leagues anyway.
Yeah, they could do the I'll say the unthinkable, but they have. Arsenal have done it, but they could go that season like the unthinkable.
Yeah.
Borussia Dortmund have only lost 4 games this season. That's less than Munich, but sat in 4th. It's away from the runaway, which doesn't normally happen with Leverkusen. It's normally Munich with the runaway. It's quite a tight thing at the top. So yeah, you do have to feel a little bit for Harry Kane and the Munich players, but that is what that player does to you.
Yeah. Anything
to come out of Formula One this week, Jordan?
Nothing actually. Do you know what? It's been extremely quiet, unless I've missed something.
The only thing I've seen is a big vote on Twitter saying that will Oliver Burman still score more points than Alpine this season?
The answer is probably like Alpine this season. Like they really need to pull it back in not even the back end of the season. We're only 4 races in.
3, aren't we? 3.
Japan will be 4th, I think. So.
Yeah, this weekend.
Weekend. No, I don't know. Not a great start from Alpine, but not a huge amount of news to come out of Formula One, to be quite honest with you. We're in Suzuka this weekend, which is usually in the back end of the calendar, but they've switched it all up this season for...
What? Is it to do with weather?
It's to do with the optimizing the calendar for net zero purpose, like carbon net zero purposes, but also we've gone more regionally because of like Ramadan and because of the temperatures in where was it last year? Was it the Qatar Grand Prix and Lance Stroll nearly passed out of the wheel, or one of the? I think Logan Sargent had to retire.
Yeah.
So from a driver safety point of view as well, they've mixed up the calendar. But it's just unfortunate for us Brits that we've got 2 super duper early starts.
Oh, yeah. What is the Japanese one? I don't mind, and I'll be honest,
it's not bad. It's 6 a.m.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite races of the year as well. So I'm a little bit sort of inclined to probably get up and watch that. I do love Suzuka because of it's a little bit like Spa, where the weather can go either way.
Yeah.
Did you see the video that I shared earlier regarding Vegas Grand Prix?
What is that? The revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made a fortune for Vegas, as you would expect.
1.5 billion.
Yeah.
How much?
1.5 billion.
Really?
They worked out the average F1 fan spent 3.5 times as much as a normal person would staying for 4 nights going to watch the Grand Prix. The tax that they generated, all this stuff was worth 1.5 billion to the economy of Vegas.
The actual, in good news for kind of Liberty Media as well, the actual event itself, the actual Formula One event, which for James' context, it's Formula One don't necessarily own or operate any of the races at all throughout the year. Silverstone, for example, pay a fee to be featured on the calendar. As well as being selected as well. But Formula One was actually, Liberty Media and Formula One actually created the Las Vegas Grand Prix. They were a primary, not even a stakeholder. They were the people.
This is our race.
Yeah, this is our race. And they actually made a £65 million profit. And that is after building the £400 million paddock. That is after doing all the marketing and doing all the kind of initial setups. So next year, or this year, sorry, you can expect them to make a significantly more profit because there isn't that initial investment, because there is that all year round Formula One paddock, or racing paddock that's already built and ready. So that it seems with 9 years left on the lease, a lease that they can control, it seems like it's made a pretty penny for them.
And the thing is, that's only going to get more and more popular, isn't it? As the years go on, so you could be looking at a 10-year lease to own this race, to have this race, and it could earn them up to. I hate to say it,
Billions.
I'd even say trillion.
A trillion.
I'm not sure the Formula One market's that big, but
Not yet.
It won't get there with Liberty Media. I can assure you of that.
Well, I was just looking at the races coming up in the Formula One, and is Miami, is that a regular one or is that a new one?
Yeah, Miami was introduced 2 years ago, and it's in the car park of a stadium in America, which
a stadium. Have you just said it's in the car park of a stadium?
Well, it's Miami Dolphins Stadium, is it?
Yeah.
The Hard Rock Arena. It's the Hard Rock Arena. I'm sure it's the Hard Rock Arena. Am I right to say it's
Hard Rock Stadium? Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit.
As a race, James, to put in perspective, what they do in the middle of the track, they lay what looks to be, it's almost like vinyl tiles to look like water, and they put fake boats on it so it looks like there's a harbour. And people sit on these boats as if they're watching from Monaco.
And what they do as well is they fucking hire will.i.am every year. He turns up every race and conducts this mock orchestra, and it just makes me want to smash my living room up.
I'll tell you what, the fact that you two guys hate this so much, I think I might watch it this year. Where's the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix or whatever it's called?
Italy.
Yeah. Am I right in saying that's the track that Senna crashed at?
Yes.
Yeah. So it got moved to Monza years ago, and they've introduced it again. So it's a good little track, I think.
Yeah.
I still think they should bring back the Bahrain outer track that we had in COVID. That was for me one of the best tracks of best race we've had in years. That was when Russell stepped in for Hamilton, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'd like to see Malaysia back. Malaysia was a race. I love that track.
Oh, that with the hairpin and the S's at the start. Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, I did like that track.
Yeah.
So, guys, it is Easter, and I was looking this morning and thinking about all the sports people. I'll be honest, I mainly looked at footballers with Easter names. Firstly, I'd love to know what Jordan came up with, if any.
To be honest, right, when you put that in the chat this morning, for the listeners, we have a bit of a chat where we discuss podcast ideas and we put some memes and stuff in there as well for the pod.
Hang on, Jordan, don't let the listeners give you any false illusion that we actually plan any of this, because
no, we vaguely thrash out what we're going to do.
It's quite clear that we don't.
When you put that in, I was like, what on earth? And then when I googled it, there's like 4 people on Wikipedia.
What on earth did you Google?
Yeah,
what have you Googled?
Easter brackets surname.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus is one of them.
Mark Easter was a rugby player born in Swaziland.
Yes.
Melanie Easter was a British Paralympian. Mitch Easter was an American musician. In fact, no, that's it. One more English rugby union player.
Nick Easter. I was sat here waiting for that one because I was thinking that's one of the most obvious ones as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came up with Nick Easter at the very least. What about former Crystal Palace, Wycombe Wanderers, Plymouth Argyle striker Jermaine Easter?
Oh, he's not on there. I need to update this Wikipedia page.
I think you do. But then in other related names, there was one that played today, and I think James is going to probably get that one out there quite quickly.
Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. It's a Christian holiday.
Yeah, Jesus is pretty big in the Christian world, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's top guy.
Did you get any other puns out of it, James?
I come up with, I'll be honest, I didn't Google any of them. I thought I'd try and think of some just off the cuff, and I come up with Edgar Davids.
Yeah. I got Edgar Davids.
What was it? The old Chelsea got Egg De Hoya.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And that's pretty much where at the time I come to an end.
What about former Man City winger Riyad Mahrez?
Mahrez, yeah.
I
mean, there's quite. I mean, when you're looking at the pun side of thing, you can change most of them, can't you? Like,
Jamie Carragher.
Carragher, yeah.
No, hang on. So I've come up with, me not having a clue, has come up with 3 genuine people. You guys are just putting egg in the middle of people's names.
That's the purpose of the game.
Well, was it Mark Cross, the older footballer, Mark Cross, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Ryan Shaw hot cross.
If you listen,
yeah,
it's the sound of James scraping the barrel.
What about former Man City striker Sergio Aguero?
Yeah.
I like that one. That was good. I like that one.
And then there's former winger. I want to make sure I get his clubs right because I'm pretty sure he were at Wolves. Yeah, he played for quite a few. Hull, Wolves. He were a winger. Stephen Hunt.
Stephen Hunt. Egg Hunt. Easter Egg Hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Have you got any non-egg ones? Have you got any bunny ones or anything like that?
The nearest you're going to get from me with that is Victor
Moses.
Yeah, that's the nearest you're going to get from me from that one, I'm afraid. Yeah, the rest are all eggs. Andre Iniesta. And then the only one I could think of, and it was just purely down to the surname, so you could link it with most other people, is former Great British triple jumper in Jonathan Edwards. That's all I could think. You could do that with any other Welsh rugby player.
That's Edwards. That's
all I had.
That's pretty shit, to be fair. But
yeah, exactly. But that's all I had. Anything from a random sport of the world this week, James? Or has it been a busy week?
Well, I've mentioned it to you a few times, and it's really been playing on me to get it out there. But it is the World Championship of Chase Tag.
Oh God, when's that?
So the World Championship of Chase Tag is taking place in France this year between the 26th and the 28th of April. And that consists of fully grown adults running after each other, trying to touch each other.
Is that not your Friday nights, Jordan?
So, but it links into a really interesting. They made a film about it a few years ago, and I've read into it.
Yes.
There was a group of friends that had been playing, or that were playing this game of tag for near on 30 years, and they would fly around the world because obviously, as we grow up, we all kind of. We all move on. We have our own things. You might take up job opportunities on the other side of the world or whatever. But these guys took it so seriously that one guy would fly from Washington State in the US to Sydney, Australia, and then hide in his mate's bush. And then when he comes out to pick the paper up in the morning, he jumps out, tag, you're it. And this went on for near on 30 years.
I watched this film. It was quite good. I know Jordan hasn't ever watched a film, so he doesn't know. But he's really good.
I mean, they would break into each other's houses and tiptoe their way up the stairs, stand there at the bottom of the bed, and when someone woke up absolutely shitting themselves, thinking that there's a burglar in, they'd stand there and go, "Tag, you're it."
Yeah,
and you just think. It scared the bloody life out of you, wouldn't it?
But it's the pettiness levels that I can agree with.
You are?
The pettiness levels of it all that I can agree with.
Oh, it's right up my street, absolutely. But when you watch this tag thing, I mean, it's basically parkour on steroids.
Yeah.
These guys just jump over obstacles and swing around poles to, get shot of the chaser, and it's. You got to be fit to play it, but
it's only a 12 metre by 12 metre square. It's not a massive little area.
No, but they cram a lot of apparatus into that area. You know, like they look like scaffolding poles and stuff like that, where you just jump. But it looks, parkour on steroids. But it looks really interesting to watch. I think I'll probably end up falling down a rabbit hole later on YouTube with it. But it looks pretty good. But yeah, in France, end of April, couple of days. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. No, it'll be one to watch out with. That and
Before
kebab.
we finish,
Yes.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Oh, God.
Oh. So what you're saying is you've not listened to a single word I've said over the last 5 minutes, have you, Jordan? You've been trying to look that up.
Gravy wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's next week.
I'm really glad I didn't fuck it up after all that time looking. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. There you go.
I don't think anything more needs to be said, does it?
Nah.
I look forward to gravy wrestling next week.
Oh,
take care, guys. See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sportscast podcast. As normal, you'll get us on our social media, Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, at SportscastPod UK. Join us again next week.